on today's show, they told me it would be a quiet offseason. Nobody wants to win. Nobody wants to do anything weird. And then the Portland Trailblazers said, not us.
When that final buzzer rings, you know it's time for Locked On NBA Game Night. All the post-game reactions to every game across the league, every single night, with insights only the hosts at Locked On can provide. It's the true NBA fans' one stop for all the action. Every game, every night. It's Locked On NBA Game Night. Tipping off now.
And welcome. You're locked on to the NBA Game List tonight. My name is Nick Angstadt, host of Locked On Mavericks podcast, part of Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And joining me, as always, from Locked On Bucks. What'd you see in the NBA tonight, Camille Davis?
Madness. Mad scientists trying to construct rosters in ways that I am still not sure of how they really come together.
We will talk about the free agency, as many signings as we can get to. The Expendables coming together for the Warriors with LeBron and Anthony Davis. We'll talk about that and count it up. We'll talk about some of the other moves. We'll also talk about Jalen Duren reportedly wanting out of Detroit. Is that an all-time loser move to want to leave the number one team in the East to go to Sacramento?
All-time loser move?
Is it? We'll talk about that, but let's start here with Ja Morant because he gets traded to the Portland Trailblazers, an absolutely out of left field move where there are times in the NBA where we talk and talk and talk, and yes, that's what this whole network is all about. All we do is talk, Camille. We're never about action, just about talking and talking about things. We would go, what are some potential Ja Morant landing spots, right? And you and I would sit here on the show and we'd be like, Portland? No, they got Scoot Henderson. They're bringing Damian Lillard back. They've got Drew Holiday still, Shaedon Sharpe. Like, what? There's no way that would make any sense. And yet here we are, where they trade for Ja Morant. He's going to play next to Damian Lillard, apparently. Let's hear from Mike Richmond. This is his initial reaction for this.
Portland Trailblazers acquire a disgruntled guard who's received MVP votes in the last half decade. Just not the one you thought. The Trailblazers trade for Ja Morant, sending Jeremy Grant and Chris Murray to the Memphis Grizzlies and no draft picks. Out of nowhere. And a bet that, quite frankly, in the early stages, I don't totally understand. A future in Portland here with Ja Morant and Damian Lillard coexisting in a backcourt. The price is low enough that the Blazers are betting on talent. They just didn't pay a premium. They paid very, very, very little. Jeremy Grant's $35 million contract and Chris Murray's $5 million contract that's expiring to acquire Morant. It is nearly free. Now they'll have to bet that the low price bargain shopping pays off. A stunner in Portland. Make sure you listen to Locked On Blazers for more.
It is essentially free, though. The thing that Mike got with that, is it a free move that you like, though? Sometimes stuff you get for free isn't always good for you, right? Like sometimes they're handing out free samples of things, and you're like, hey, I don't know. I don't think this is actually I don't think I'm gonna like this.
You know something bad has to be when you're like, free? Not for me.
I sure was walking around Costco on Saturday, and they were handing out little drink samples of something. I drank something, and I was like, at first it hit in the flavor. You're like, okay, and then afterwards you're like, what is that aftertaste? And it was protein soda.
Oh, that's why.
Nah,
that's why.
I was like, I didn't read the sign carefully enough.
I could do a whole podcast on protein infused foods, but we will not. We'll talk about Ja Morant heading to Portland because the idea of Ja in Portland, because he was a distressed asset, because you were able to get him for almost nothing. It makes sense to take the swing, but to pair him with Damian Lillard on a team where you also have Deni Avdija, who needs the ball in his hands, when you also had a guard with Dame where it was going to be an adjustment because he needs the ball in his hands. And then you add Ja Morant, who also needs the ball in his hands. And neither Ja nor Dame are known for their defense. And Ja does not space the floor well. Shooting is not his strong suit. But again, it's taking a shot on a superstar, hoping that he can remain healthy, something that has also been a problem for him over the last few years, although he's only 27. And hoping that, he's motivated to return back to an all-star level of play. That's what you're hoping for, but I still have questions around the fit of him next to Damian Lillard.
Do I care about the fit next to Damian Lillard? Because as I've been thinking about this deal, I've been thinking about, like, should taking a swing on Ja Morant, a 27-year-old Ja Morant, should having a 36-year-old Damian Lillard coming off this major injury, should that really dissuade me from taking the swing on Ja? Now, the Chris Haynes report that comes out and says they envision the backcourt of both of them playing next to each other with Deni on the wing and probably like Tumani Kamara at the 4 because they're going to need a ton of defense to back up those guys, and then Donovan Clingan at the 5. Does that really make a lot of sense to me? No, but like Dame only has one more year on his deal after this one. It's a player option, and so we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens then. Maybe they convince him to go to the bench next season. Drew Holiday, same thing, a player option after that. Scoot Henderson, it's not like he's gone gangbusters and shown some insane potential that I'd say, you know what? This is going to impede his progress. Like, it feels like it did feel like they needed to make some kind of swing. And if this is going to be the one, like Mike said, you basically got him for free. I don't know how it's going to work out. I don't know how, I don't think they're going to be fine in the West like the Grizzlies were, but they're at least better today than they were yesterday.
Yes.
Has Ja fallen that far where we're like,
no, it's just me thinking about fit, because I do think fit is important, where although the talent might be more high end with Ja, what Portland was able to construct last year, which is different because again, the system ran around Deni Avdija and having the ball in his hands. It's going to be a different story this upcoming year. It already was with just Dame in the lineup, but it's definitely going to be so with Ja in the lineup as well. But the thing I will say for Portland is that I don't want to judge this move on its own. Like, I feel like there are more moves to make because they are very guard heavy right now in Portland. I think they need to balance that roster out a bit. If they can find some wings with some shooting ability, I think that'd be great for them, especially catch and shoot type of guys, because they just kind of need that spacing. Defense, of course, they're going to need, but they just got to kind of get rid of some of that guard log jam that they have. And if this is a precursor to a bigger swing of like getting Jalen Brown into town, okay, like let's see what this actually does, because you're making a bet on talent above everything else.
Well, I think the reporting is that they're now out on Jalen Brown. Like, this was their big swing, and I think was
well.
I think this was the big swing, and so
they need a little swing to balance things out.
They swung it out and cocked it, made sure it was loaded. The Ja Morant Deni pairing, like, you're just gonna, it's a battering ram to the rim every single play.
That's fair.
Like, at the two of them, like, you know you're gonna put pressure on the rim for sure, and at least now you have one more option. I just, man, I don't understand how, like, where this takes you. But if Ja does get back to like all-star level status, you get an all-star for essentially for free. They've been trying to get off that Jeremy Grant contract for a while. Chris Murray is, Keegan's younger brother. That's his claim to fame, I guess, right? And I don't even know what Keegan Murray's claim to fame is right now
at this point
in the NBA. But I think that's what it is at this point. It's, I don't know, it's a less risky swing than what the Timberwolves did with LaMelo.
I think that's, I think that's fair to say. And here's the thing for Ja. I do think that he is going to go into Portland pretty motivated with how things went. Like, he heard all the conversation around how he had no trade value along with Trae Young and LaMelo. So for all three of them to have been moved now, I think that is going to put a bit of a battery in his back to try to fit in and do what it takes to try to win in Portland.
On the Grizzly side of things, they were worried that they were going to have to attach stuff to Ja Morant to get off his contract. Let's hear from Joel Mullinax from Locked On Grizzlies.
Shams Charania of ESPN is reporting that the Memphis Grizzlies have traded Ja Morant to the Portland Trail Blazers for Chris Murray and Jeremy Grant. I'm Joe Mullinax of Locked On Grizzlies. And no disrespect to Grant and Murray, how this works for them heading to Memphis in the days ahead, that'll certainly be a focus of ours. But this moment belongs to Ja Morant, the biggest superstar the Memphis Grizzlies have ever known, a two-time All-Star. Not just the face of the Grizzlies franchise, but potentially the future face of American basketball. That was all true several years ago when we saw the rise of Ja Morant. And of course, in the years that followed, the fall for a variety of reasons. The end of Ja in Memphis started in February around the trade deadline, went through and into the NBA draft. Rumors around his movement onto another franchise were rampant. And here on the eve of NBA free agency, the Memphis Grizzlies indeed move on from the biggest star they've ever known. We will have much more for you on Locked On Grizzlies in the days to come. Make sure you are sticking with us.
Subscribe over there. Listen to both those great shows. Quickly, the reason why Ja Morant is no longer Memphis Grizzlies is what?
Ooh, a decision to move on from an era that did not produce as many winning moments as they thought that it would. Desmond Bane was the first domino to fall once Jaren Jackson Jr. was traded. It was another admission that we want to end this particular era of Grizzlies basketball and move into the next one. So Ja was just that final piece of what should have been a bit more successful period, but injuries, off-court antics, and a lot of other things caught up to them, and they just weren't able to hit the highs that they were projected to.
We have seen executives over the last couple of months, weeks, days, and then years be very, very selective about their number one player. Mm-hmm. We've seen LaMelo Ball get traded for like not very much, right? Like more than this, but not very much, and get sent off when he was the most beloved player for the Hornets. We just saw Ja Morant get traded. We saw Luka Doncic get traded for not very much because the executive in charge of that organization looked at it and said, I don't think we can win with that guy. Specifically looked at the superstar and said, I don't think that we can win with him. It's got to be somebody else. It's got to be, a different type of star, a different personality, a different skill set, a different ability. And I think that is a very fascinating thing that we're seeing with some of these executives and being very selective and choosy and picky about who their star player is. And if you can't vibe or win at a certain level, then they're not afraid to like move on from you, no matter how much the franchise loves you. Now, it may work out the way that it worked out in Dallas, and then your ass gets run out of town and out the state. Maybe it'll work out that way sometimes, but they're not afraid about it. And so coming up, let's talk about Jalen Duren, who is now trying to get out of Detroit all of a sudden. Wild. We'll talk about that and more coming up. Locked On NBA Game Night continues next. Locked On NBA Gameless Night brought to you by FanDuel. The biggest stage of world soccer is here, and every match feels like it has potential for a memorable moment. One goal can completely change the energy of the game. I loved watching Messi break that record because, man, it just felt like an entire country just like screamed all at once, and it completely changed the energy of the atmosphere. I think we probably put more carbon into the atmosphere after that. The momentum can shift in an instant. That's what makes tournament soccer so exciting. From the opening whistle to the final kick, go check out all the different things you can do right now. They have this bonus. It's called Every Goal Pays, when you get a bonus bet for every goal scored in that match. So if you look at one of the matches and you're like, oh, okay, this Bosnia-USA game, there's definitely going to be a bunch of goals. Let's say you think that. Then you can go turn on the token and take advantage of it. USA minus 750 in that game. Bosnia plus 500. So you can do all kinds of stuff with FanDuel. Check it out from the opening whistle to the final kick. Let there be goals on FanDuel. Visit FanDuel.com to get started and check out everything they have for tournament soccer. Thanks for hanging out with us on Locked On NBA Game Night. Being an everyday or listening every day, we have a daily show that covers your favorite team. The Locked On Blazers show will be very interesting. Mike Richmond explains the situation better than maybe anybody on our network. And so for him to explain the Ja Morant thing to me, I'm excited about listening to that one a little later. And then the Grizzlies, for sure, Locked On Grizzlies with DeMichael and Joe will have great stuff on their next era. I listened to them and their reaction show, and they said Cam Boozer is the definitive best player on the team now. And I was like, ooh, all right, here we go into that era. Let's go. Let's go into it. Jalen Duren is now requesting or calling for a sign and trade from Detroit. The reports were a sizable gap between the contract negotiations between Detroit and Duren's camp. I listened to Locked On Pistons a little bit earlier today with Kuka Hill, and he was saying he thinks it's probably like they're trying to offer Jalen Duren $35 million. He wants the full 50 because he made that all NBA team, because he could get that full, max it and do all that. Apparently he wants to go to the Sacramento Kings. Apparently there's talks with the Lakers, who have cap space and they're maybe losing LeBron James. There are talks there. And so he's apparently having calls to say the Pistons have allowed him to say, all right, go and find a sign and trade if you want to do this. And I think this is wild that Jalen Duren is making this call, because from the outside, it kind of does look like a loser move to leave a playoff team after you didn't make it, like if you didn't play well in the playoffs, aren't getting the contract that you want. And then you're like, well, let me go to the Sacramento Kings, who have made the playoffs one time in the last 20 years. Like that is pretty wild, Camille.
Okay, so the concept of this being a loser mentality. Here's where I come in on that. One, I am always about athletes finding ways to get their bag because the career span is very short when you're able to really maximize your earnings. Jalen Duren is still a very young player who's looking at this as his next big payday. And although the playoff performance, it was
bad.
Trash. It was bad. Okay. It was not good. He did not look like the same player in the playoffs that he did in the regular season when he was able to earn those all NBA accolades. I don't fault any player for trying to maximize his or her bag. So for me, is it loser in the mindset of like what you're trying to build? Could be. But ultimately, he's trying to win for his family, for his future generations, for himself, setting all that up going forward. And honestly, we know the Kings be Kangin. But I can also see the appeal of saying like, hey, Darius Acuff just got there.
Hey.
And maybe we could actually build something in Sacramento together, especially if they're going to pay me.
Oh, I have no problem with the Sacramento Kings looking at this and saying, hey, let's take advantage of this. They have to do all kinds of cap machinations and movements and things like that. They're going to be a second apron team if they don't make moves. But for Duren, it does seem like a very strange move. And you're right. I don't blame him for trying to go get more money, especially if it's the difference between like $15 million a year over the course of a 5-year deal. That's a huge difference. That's like more than the guys were making back in the early 2000s even, right? And so I can't blame him on that. The Lakers one would be interesting, but he's not interested in going to the Lakers. He's more interested in going to the Kings reportedly. And so that's the part that's strange to me. And for Detroit, like this is like close to a disaster, right?
Yes. If anything, like I really do not like it for Detroit. Like for Sacramento, hey, that's a little come up right there. You're off with Zach LaVine's money next year. They're probably going to wave and stretch DeRozan. So you're trying to start to make the moves to go into whatever.
They got to swipe right, Camille. Somebody swiped right on the Kings.
Right.
They got the notification that popped down that said, boom, somebody likes your photo.
They thought the app was broke because they hadn't got any action on it. They're like, oh, wait, it does work.
Hinge sending me another notification about some kind of promotion they got going on.
But for Detroit, if you swap Duren for Sabonis, now it does open up some things that are interesting offensively with Sabonis' ability to kind of be an offensive hub and kind of take on some of the playmaking that we saw really laid on the shoulders of Cade Cunningham. But I do think you lose so much defensively from that, which again makes what you do with Thompson an even bigger decision because he's extension eligible this summer as well. So trying to figure out all the money is going to be important, but roster construction wise and fit, I do not like the Pistons with Sabonis as their center as much as I did with Jalen Duren, and even though the playoff wasn't great.
And he's making like $46 million, right? I mean, it's not like they're going to go from Duren to Sabonis and that fixes the money situation. Like I can't even imagine Sabonis going to the Pistons because I don't think that would even. But they also just traded Beef Stew away, dumped him basically. Like this whole situation for the Pistons is wild. So this feels to me, and I've been waiting to figure out how to say this. It feels like the Jalen Brunson situation for the Mavs all over again, because a guy that had come into his own, had started to play really well. Now Brunson had just played really well in the playoffs, and Duren just did not. So that's the difference there. But the one team wants to offer him a certain amount. He wants more. He's going to go to another team and then maybe blossom over there. It seems like he's blossomed way more than Brunson already had at this point in the career. But the idea that the team doesn't want to offer him a certain amount, he thinks he's worth that certain amount, and he can go prove it. And then they also, how are they going to replace him? Because the Mavs couldn't replace him. They had to do the Kyrie thing like way after, and that's now retconned into they got Kyrie because they lost him. Okay, yeah, but I covered all those games between when they didn't have Brunson and when they did have Kyrie, and it was that was a disaster with Dinwiddie as the next best guard.
If I could offer a suggestion to Detroit out there, hey, listen, if Jalen Duren doesn't want to be there, you have to sign and trade him. Listen, do the deal with the Lakers because they can actually just absorb him in the cap space.
Yeah.
You can get some draft capital and then call up Milwaukee.
I was gonna say,
why pay $48 million for Domantas Sabonis when you could pay $25 million for Miles Turner?
They got Legos in Detroit.
You know they do. Everyone has Legos. Bring them on.
They got Legos. Yeah. That'd be an interesting one. How about this one? Give a call down south here, and the Dallas Mavericks have a slightly used Daniel Gafford that's been available for a while. I mean,
cheaper too.
You want a rim runner? You want a guy that's gonna be really good with Cade? I mean, he worked really well with Luka.
Yeah. Listen, call
the
some other
finals.
teams up. Doesn't have to be one of those.
Two finals playing centers are available right now for you.
For cheaper. For cheaper.
And if you are a Pistons fan that just listened to both of those pitches and were bummed out, yeah, this Duren thing is kind of a bummer.
Yeah, because Duren is really the best option.
Wild.
Yeah.
Coming up, the Warriors are putting a team together for one last job. One last job, Camille. We'll talk about it coming up next. Locked on NBA Game Night continues.
Big chicken, baby.
I think a lot. I'm very smart.
Take that for that.
Count it up, count it up, count it up, count it up, count it up.
It's Counted Up. We count all the most interesting, fun things in the NBA, and this Warriors thing is kind of fun to me. It's kind of fun to think about. So Steph Curry still on the Warriors, right? He's never gonna leave. Love that.
Nope.
Draymond Green declined his option today. That surprised some people. Porzingis got re-signed. The Warriors have wanted LeBron for a long time. Draymond wants to play with him. LeBron, that's one of the places maybe he would go. Now they want to trade for Anthony Davis and try to make all that work. Camille,
Count it up.
the Golden State Warriors Expendables get put together. Let's say they make this happen.
Yep.
Opening night of the box office, the first game of the season. Are you sat for it?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because that's going to be the healthiest they're going to be all season.
the first game of the season.
The first game, the healthiest you'll see them all season. But honestly, even with the jokes about the health, which is a real concern with this group, especially because they also just brought back Kristaps Porzingis as well. They have Al Horford on the roster. So there are some older bodies over there. But a lot of times when teams take the swings on putting together the older all-stars together, it does not pan out well. But this might sound crazy. I don't necessarily hate this idea for Golden State because of where they are in their team life cycle and how much they have already said, like, we'll do anything to get Steph another ring. Like, we'll do anything.
Just
so,
not even a ring. Just how about relevance? They just want relevance for Steph. Like,
I'm kind of here for it.
And that's
I'm here for it.
It'd be kind of fun. It'd be weird. It'd be an insane circus. Like, when the Golden State Warriors come to your town with Steph Curry, LeBron, Anthony Davis, Draymond, like, you have to go see them, right? Like, you have to go see it. It'll be so weird to see LeBron in a Warriors jersey. It'll be weird to see LeBron and Steph not in Team USA and playing together. It'll be weird to see Anthony, but they've all played at Team USA together already. They have these connections, and it's not an insane stretch because you got the Jimmy Butler contract that you can use for Anthony Davis, which RIP to Anthony Davis's Wizards career, because that came and went before. At least he played one half with Kyrie Irving. He didn't even get a half with the Wizards.
The AD part of it, like, if there was any part of it that, like, hey, if this doesn't happen, you'll still be all right. I think the AD part of it is where I'm like, the LeBron is the big fish to me in this whole situation, although he'd be paid some of the fewest dollars in this expendable setup, because I saw earlier today, there were some people thinking that with KP resigning there, of like, hey, that dream is over with, but it's still alive. Like, they could still do it. You have to trade Jimmy Butler, of course, and picks for AD if you wanted that to go that route. Then they would still have enough money to get James in with the non-taxpayer mid-level, I believe it is, under the first apron hard cap, but only if they're able to find someone to take Moses Moody's contract, and if Draymond Green would also sign like the same contract that's at the max, the same as what Porzingis just got, which is 2 years, $40 million. So it's alive. It's there. And I hope it happens. I can't lie to you. I really do hope this happens, because listen, the Bucks ain't going to be, they're not a playoff team this year. I want as much chaos around the league as I can watch as possible. And this would be fantastic television.
You're not going to be like breaking down Braden Burries and Nate Ament tape.
I'm going to be gladly doing that, but it's a whole different realm. Like, where the Bucks are in their team building, it's like the beginning of like, hey, who could possibly be a player to build around?
Do you think
watching the Warrior Expendables? Give it to me.
Do you think Yaxel Lenneberg thought he was going to bring down the average age of a team? his first year.
He honestly might have when he first saw the roster. Like, well, Steph is 37, and Draymond's up there, so like maybe a bit, but maybe not as much as he could if they actually go through with this. But he's a perfect rookie for this situation.
Kind of,
well.
Yeah. Playing with LeBron, there's gonna be some fun moments, and Yax also has no filter, and I hope he doesn't ever find one, because hearing all the ins and outs of what happens every time he gets on a mic is gonna be worth it for sure.
Absolutely. I'm here for the fun. I think that the way that free agency is shaping up, with which teams are taking these swings and whatnot, and even which teams project to be like the worst in the conference.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be talent on those worst teams. I think the Bucks are going to be fun to watch this year. And maybe I'm just a basketball sicko and I'm just excited about basketball coming back. But I think like the bad teams are even going to be entertaining to watch, with just some of the young talent being put on those situations.
What's the starting lineup of the Bucks going to be, Camille?
If I had to guess today, which is they got like 18.
Here's maybe a better question.
They got 18 guards.
How many games next year do we have the Bucks in the first segment of this show?
Oh. oh man.
Maybe just reality.
Maybe once or twice.
I've gone into seasons before where I'm like, oh man, the Mavs are really interesting. Got Harrison Barnes, got old Dirk. And you're like, dang.
Maybe once or twice.
Ain't nobody gonna care about this team.
But I will say this is my Bucks prediction. They only won 32 games last year. They'll probably be around that mark again this year, but I think it'll be a way more fun 32 win team than what you got last year.
It'll at least not be as agonizing as this last one was, for sure. We can't talk about the Warriors without talking about Jonathan Kuminga. Even though he's not on the team anymore, it just feels like they're a package deal. But the Hawks are declining Jonathan Kuminga's $24 million team option. Camille, can we say the Warriors won the trade?
Ooh. if Kuminga does not return back to the Hawks, which is still a possibility that he comes back at a lower figure for a multi-year deal, then yeah. Because if he's not there, then yeah, that does not work out and the Warriors win that. All
that talk. They kept Buddy Hield. And the Warriors kept Porzingis. So you're like, all right, we're trying to figure out.
There's that.
Everything happened with that trade. Landry Shamet intends to sign a new 4-year, $24 million deal to return to the New York Knicks. If the Knicks stay under the second apron, according to Ian Begley, it will be difficult for them now to retain Mitchell Robinson. Camille, is Landry Shamet worth losing Mitchell Robinson if that was your option?
Ooh, I like the way that you worded that question. That's a great framing. I think the answer is ultimately going to lie on who they find to replace him, because there have been rumors that there could be a reunion. Well, no, not a reunion there. Never mind. I'm thinking about Boston. What if Rob Will ends up, with the Knicks coming off of here? But like, it depends on what they do to figure it out. But I think that what Shaman provides to the team is very valuable, because of his ability to stretch the floor and have that sharpshooter there. So like, you want to keep Landry Shamet, yes. So how you pivot from losing your key backup center who had key offensive rebounds and moments in the playoffs is going to be pivotal.
Yeah, that one's an interesting one to me. I don't think they would have kept Mitchell Robinson for $8 million average annual value.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think that's what they would have kept him as. And so I don't think that it was an either or, but it does seem interesting that, James Dolan came out and was like, hey, we're not paying the second apron. That's like committing suicide. It was his direct quote. And so now they're breaking up a championship team, kind of. And that's an interesting one to follow with the Knicks. You mentioned sharpshooter. Shams Charania reports that free agent sharpshooter Kevin Huerter intends to sign a 3-year, $27 million deal to return to the Pistons. Camille, over the last 2 seasons, Kevin Huerter's played 138 games. What would you guess his 3-point percentage has been over the last 2 seasons?
Ooh, let me guess like 37%.
How about 32.4%? Are we allowed to still call him a sharpshooter, or did Shams racially profile our guy?
It's quite possible.
Shout out to my guy Slightly for that joke. I totally stole it.
Please repeat what he's been shooting.
32.4% over the last 2 seasons, 138 games. Now he's moved teams. Both years he moved teams. So he's played for 4 different teams. He's been all over the place, sure, but I just thought it was funny they called him sharpshooter, and he's like shooting way below league average over the last 2 seasons.
He might have moved, but the hoop and how you put the ball in the hoop didn't change. That's, come on, Kevin. It's got to be better than that. He got to bounce back. 30. Red Velvet, like we can't call you Red Velvet until you start shooting better again. Like we gotta put that nickname on pause.
Last one. Sacramento Kings guard Zach LaVine is opting into his $49 million player option for the 2026-27 season. Clutch Sports CEO Rich Paul tells ESPN.
Count it up.
Did Rich Paul actually have to tell us this?
No one had to tell it. We all knew what was going to happen here.
I didn't need anybody to tell me this.
Nope, completely. It's like you got the alert and you were like, well, duh. And it's just like, of course.
It was barely a player option at this point.
Right. Like, why would he turn that down?
What do you think opting into $49 million feels like?
I feel like once you like officially put it through, like, yes, I'm opting in, music probably starts to play automatically that you didn't even pick. Like, it just starts to play.
You pick up
disco
the pen,
ball comes
just
out.
sign the thing for the option, and music starts playing out of the pen. You're like, well, I didn't even know that this pen was capable of that. Just
the disco ball, the lights dim, and it's just like, yeah. The little digital shades come down over your eyes. You're like, how did I become part of this meme? Like, it just happens automatically.
We have a show for every single one of these teams, so go check it out. Go listen wherever you're listening or watching this. You can find that show and find out what they're doing, because all our teams are doing weird stuff. Thanks so much for listening to Locked On NBA.